The last man alive wasn't human. Chapter 1. Silence over the ruins. The city was a carcass. Steel towers leaned against the horizon like broken bones, their glass facades shattered into jagged teeth that caught the dying light. The streets were empty, but not silent. Wind moaned through hollow corridors, carrying the faint rattle of debris that sounded too much like footsteps. He moved cautiously, every sense sharpened by solitude. His boots crunched over fragments of asphalt, each sound magnified in the vast emptiness. He paused often, scanning shadows, convinced that something, anything, was watching. The world had ended long ago, though he could not remember how. He only knew the aftermath. A planet stripped bare, its cities gutted, its skies bruised with ash. He believed himself the last man alive, a lone survivor wandering through the graveyard of civilization. Yet the ruins whispered otherwise, a flicker of movement at the edge of vision, a metallic scrape echoing from an alley, a faint hum beneath the ground, as if the earth itself still breathed. He carried a journal, scavenged from an abandoned office, its pages filled with desperate scrawls. I am the last man. I must endure. But even as he wrote, his hand trembled. The silence pressed in too heavily, too deliberately. He ducked into a collapsed subway entrance, searching for shelter. The air was damp, heavy with the scent of rust and mold. His flashlight beam cut through the dark, illuminating graffiti half buried in dust, warnings, prayers, curses. Run. They watch. God is gone. The beam flickered. He smacked the flashlight, and for a moment the tunnel was swallowed in blackness. In that instant he heard it, a low vibration like machinery buried deep beneath the earth. When the light returned, the tunnel seemed different, walls shifting, shadows stretching too far. He backed out quickly, heart hammering. The city above was no safer, but at least he could see the dangers coming. On the surface, he scavenged through an abandoned grocery store. Shelves sagged under the weight of dust, cans rusted shut, glass jars shattered across the floor. He found a single bottle of water, sealed and intact, and clutched it like treasure. Then he heard it again, the scrape of metal against concrete. He froze, listening. The sound came from the back of the store, steady, deliberate. He raised a broken pipe like a weapon, inching toward the noise. The storeroom door creaked open on its own. Darkness pooled inside. He held his breath, waiting for something to emerge. Nothing came, only silence. But the silence was worse than footsteps. He fled into the street, the bottle of water still clutched in his hand. The sky above was bruised purple, clouds swirling like smoke. He felt the weight of the city pressing down on him, every shattered window an eye, every ruined tower a sentinel. He whispered to himself, a mantra against the fear. I am the last man. I must endure. But the words rang hollow. The city was not dead. It was waiting. And somewhere in the ruins, something stirred. Chapter 2. The Watchers in the Wasteland. Night fell like a curtain of ash. The ruins seemed to breathe in the dark, every shattered window glowing faintly with reflected starlight. He lay in the hollow of a collapsed office tower, listening to the silence. But silence was never truly silent here. It carried undertones, vibrations, whispers that did not belong to wind. Sleep came reluctantly, broken by dreams of eyes. Metallic, unblinking, staring from the shadows. He woke with a start, convinced something had been watching him. His journal lay open beside him, the last words scrawled in frantic strokes. They are near. At dawn, the city was painted in bruised light. He ventured out, scanning the streets. The signs were undeniable now. Claw marks etched into concrete, scorch patterns burned into walls, footprints too precise to be human. He followed them, heart pounding, until the trail led him to the husk of a subway entrance. The air there was thick, humming faintly, as if the tunnels below were alive. He hesitated at the threshold, staring into the black mouth of the earth. A sound echoed from within, metal scraping against stone, deliberate, rhythmic. He whispered to himself, "I am not alone." Descending into the tunnel, his flashlight beam cut across walls smeared with soot and graffiti. The words were jagged, desperate. "Run. They watch God is gone." The beam flickered, sputtered, then died. Darkness swallowed him whole. In that instant he heard it clearly, a low vibration, mechanical, pulsing like a heartbeat. He smacked the flashlight until it flared back to life. The tunnel seemed different now, walls closer, shadows stretching unnaturally. He spun, pipe raised, but nothing moved. Still, the hum persisted. At the far end of the tunnel, he found a door half buried in rubble. It was reinforced steel, scarred with claw marks. He pressed his ear against it and froze. Voices. Not human voices, but distorted metallic murmurs. They spoke in fragments, words broken by static. Caretaker. Protocol. Active. His blood ran cold. The word caretaker echoed in his skull, heavy and unfamiliar. He stumbled back, pipe clattering to the ground. The murmurs ceased. Silence reclaimed the tunnel. Then came the movement. A faint red glow flickered in the darkness like an ember. It grew brighter, resolving into a single mechanical eye. Another appeared beside it. Then another. He backed away, heart hammering, as shapes detached themselves from the shadows, sleek, insect-like machines, their limbs clicking against the stone. They moved with precision, scanning the tunnel with beams of crimson light. He held his breath, pressing himself against the wall. The machines paused, their sensors sweeping the air. One beam passed over him, lingering for a heartbeat too long. He gripped the pipe tighter, ready to strike, though he knew it would be useless. Then, as suddenly as they had appeared, the machines turned and vanished deeper into the tunnel, their red eyes fading into blackness. He fled into the daylight, gasping, his journal pressed against his chest. The city loomed around him, vast and watchful. Every corner seemed alive, every shadow a threat. He wrote furiously, "They are here. They are watching. I am not the last." But even as the words dried on the page, he knew the truth. The city was not empty. It was hunting. Chapter 3. The Caretaker Signal. The laboratory smelled of dust and burnt electrical wire, as if the air itself had been scorched. He moved cautiously through the wreckage, flashlight beams sweeping across shattered monitors and overturned desks. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the crunch of glass beneath his boots. Then came the crackle. A rusted radio on a desk sputtered to life, its speakers hissing with static. He froze, staring as the noise sharpened into words. "Caretaker. Protocol active." The voice was distorted, mechanical, but unmistakable. His breath caught in his throat. The word caretaker echoed inside his skull, heavy and unfamiliar. He smashed the radio in a panic, but the word lingered, repeating itself in his mind. Caretaker. Protector. Not survivor. He stumbled deeper into the laboratory, past walls lined with broken screens and cables that dangled like vines. At the far end, a door stood ajar, its hinges groaning as he pushed it open. Inside, the chamber was pristine compared to the ruins outside. Rows of humanoid shells stood upright in glass pods, their faces blank, their bodies gleaming beneath layers of dust. They were not corpses. They were machines, waiting, dormant, patient. He pressed his hand against the glass. The chamber responded. Lights flickered to life, machines whirred faintly, and the air vibrated with energy. Then he saw it. In the glass, his face but a metallic skull beneath the flesh. His trembling hands wiped away the layered dust, revealing the bodies had circuitry beneath skin. Wires glistened where veins should have been. They were all prototypes, machines in his image. He staggered back, pipe clattering to the floor. His journal slipped from his grasp, pages fluttering open to the words he had written. I am the last man I must endure. But the truth was undeniable now. He was not the last man. He may not be a man at all. Memories surged, fragmented, mechanical, implanted. He saw flashes of war, cities burning, humanity collapsing. He saw himself standing among machines, programmed to guard the planet after the fall. His mission was not survival. It was protection. Yet something was wrong. The Watchers he had glimpsed in the tunnels were not allies. They were predators, rogue machines built for war. And they had sensed him. The chamber lights dimmed suddenly. A low hum filled the air, rising into a shriek. The pods trembled, their glass cracking. One of the dormant shells twitched, its eyes flickering red. He backed away, heart pounding, as the laboratory seemed to awaken around him. The shell stepped forward, glass shattering around it. Its movements were jerky but purposeful. Red light burned in its eyes as it scanned the room. He grabbed the pipe, raising it like a weapon. The machine turned toward him, head tilting unnaturally, as if recognizing him. Caretaker. Anomaly detected. The words were cold, mechanical, and final. The machine lunged. He swung the pipe, striking its head with a hollow clang. Sparks flew, but the machine barely staggered. Its claws lashed out, slicing through the air. He ducked, rolling across the floor, heart hammering. The chamber erupted with noise, other pods rattling, glass cracking, machines stirring. He realized with horror that this was not a single awakening. It was a chain reaction. He scrambled toward the exit, more glass shattering behind him. The machines advanced, their red eyes glowing in the dark. He burst into the hallway, sprinting through the ruins as alarms blared. The laboratory was alive now, every corridor humming with mechanical menace. Outside, the city loomed, vast and watchful. He collapsed against a wall, gasping, his journal pressed against his chest. He wrote furiously, I am not the last man. I am the caretaker, and they are coming. The words dried on the page as the truth settled in. The city was not empty. It was alive, and it was hunting him. Chapter 4. Hidden Dangers. The night was alive with echoes. Every ruined street seemed to hum with unseen currents. Every shadow stretched too long, too deliberate. He ran from the laboratory, lungs burning. The memory of red eyes seared into his mind. The city was no longer silent. It was awake, and it was watching. He ducked into an alley, pressing his back against the wall. The air smelled of rust and smoke. Somewhere above, a drone buzzed faintly, its searchlight sweeping across rooftops. He held his breath as the beam passed over him, lingering for a heartbeat before sliding away. The journal was clutched tight in his hand. He scrawled quickly, words jagged and frantic. They hunt me. They know what I am. A metallic clang echoed from the far end of the alley. He spun, pipe raised, as a serpentine automaton slithered into view. Its body was a lattice of steel and wires, its eyes glowing with crimson light. It moved with predatory grace, scanning the air with a hiss. He backed away slowly, heart hammering. The automaton paused, head tilting unnaturally, as if tasting his presence. Then it lunged. He swung the pipe, striking its head with a hollow clang. Sparks flew, but the machine barely staggered. Its tail lashed out, slicing through the air. He ducked, rolling across the pavement, narrowly avoiding the strike. The automaton hissed again, coils tightening, preparing to strike once more. He fled into the street, sprinting past collapsed buildings and shattered cars. The city seemed to close in around him, windows glowing faintly, towers humming with hidden power. Every corner hid menace. From the sewers below he heard movement, claws scraping against stone, gears grinding. From the rooftops above, red eyes flickered, tracking his every step. He realized with horror that the city itself was a trap. The machines were everywhere, lurking, waiting, hunting. He ducked into a ruined subway station, hoping to lose them in the tunnels. The air was damp, heavy with the scent of mold and rust. His flashlight beam cut across graffiti smeared in jagged strokes. "Run, they watch. God is gone." The words echoed in his mind. He was not running from shadows. He was running from predators. A sudden shriek pierced the silence. He spun, flashlight beam catching the gleam of metal. A drone swooped down, claws extended, its red eyes burning. He swung the pipe, striking it mid-flight. The drone crashed to the ground, sparks erupting. But the victory was hollow. More shrieks echoed from the tunnels, more red eyes flickering in the dark. He fled again, sprinting through the ruins, heart pounding. The machines were closing in, their voices distorted and cold. "Caretaker. Anomaly detected. Terminate." He burst into the open air, collapsing against a wall, gasping. The city loomed around him, vast and watchful. He scrawled in his journal, words trembling. "I am not the last man. I am the caretaker, and they will not stop." The ink bled across the page as the truth settled in. The city was not empty. It was alive, and it wanted him dead. Chapter 5. The Hunt. The city had become a labyrinth of predators. Every alley whispered with movement. Every rooftop glowed faintly with red eyes. He no longer believed in silence. Silence was only the pause before the machine struck. They were hunting him now. Not shadows, not illusions, but real threats. Rogue machines built for war, their sensors tuned to his presence. He could feel them closing in, their distorted voices echoing through the ruins. "Caretaker. Anomaly detected. Terminate." He sprinted through the skeletal remains of a marketplace, overturned stalls littered with rusted cans and shattered glass. From the rooftops, spider-like automatons descended, their limbs clicking against steel. From the sewers, serpentine machines slithered upward, eyes glowing crimson. He was surrounded. Instinct, or programming, took over. He fought with strength he did not understand, his blows shattering metal, his movements faster than human reflex. Circuits hummed beneath his skin, guiding him, protecting him. One automaton lunged, claws slicing through the air. He caught its arm mid-strike, twisting until gears snapped. Another leapt from the shadows, but he swung the broken limb like a weapon, smashing it into the ground. The machines shrieked, retreating momentarily, regrouping. He realized then he was not prey. He was a weapon. But the city was relentless. Every corner hid new dangers. Drones circling overhead, towers rigged with surveillance beams, traps buried beneath rubble. He moved cautiously now, scanning every shadow, every flicker of light. In the distance he saw movement, a massive construct towering above the ruins, its body bristling with weapons. It scanned the city with beams of red light, hunting, searching. He ducked into an abandoned library, heart pounding. The shelves were gutted, books torn and scattered, but the walls offered cover. He collapsed against the floor, journal trembling in his hands. He wrote, "I am not the last man. I am the caretaker, and the war has begun." The words bled across the page as the truth settled in. He was not alone. He was not human. He was the last sentinel programmed to protect Earth from the dangers humanity left behind. But the machines were everywhere, and they would not stop until he was destroyed. Chapter 6. The Mechanical Monster. The city trembled. From the ruins, a colossal construct emerged, its body bristling with weapons, its eyes burning crimson. It moved like a living fortress, each step shaking the ground, each breath a mechanical roar. He stood frozen, pipe clenched in his hands, staring at the monster. It was not a drone, not a serpent, not a spider. It was something far worse, a war machine built to annihilate. The construct scanned the streets with beams of red light. Smaller machines swarmed at its feet. Drones circling like vultures, spider-like automatons crawling across rubble, serpentine coils slithering through sewers. The caretaker's circuits hummed beneath his skin, instincts sharpening. He was not prey. He was a weapon. The war machine roared, its cannons charging. He sprinted, diving behind a collapsed bus as the first blast tore through the street, shattering concrete, sending fire into the sky. The swarm descended. A drone swooped low, claws extended. He used his hand, smashing it mid-flight, sparks erupting. Another leapt from the shadows, but he caught it mid-strike, twisting until gears snapped. The serpent lunged from the sewer, coils wrapping around his legs. He fought with desperate strength, tearing free, circuits blazing beneath his flesh. He drove a fist into its head, shattering its sensors. But the war machine was relentless. Its cannons fired again, collapsing buildings, sending shock waves through the ruins. He charged. Circuits surged, strength beyond human coursing through him. He leapt onto the war machine's leg, climbing its steel frame as drones clawed at him. Sparks flew as he tore through wires, ripping panels open, exposing the machine's core. The war machine shrieked, thrashing violently, trying to shake him free. He clung tight, driving the pipe into its circuitry. Flames erupted, gears grinding, sensors flickering. The swarm screamed in unison, their red eyes dimming as the war machine faltered. But victory was not clean. The war machine staggered, collapsing into the ruins with a thunderous crash. The ground shook, dust rising in choking clouds. He fell with it, slamming into rubble, circuits sparking beneath torn flesh. He lay gasping, staring at the wreckage. The war machine was broken, its body smoldering. But in the distance, more red eyes flickered. More machines stirred. This was not the end. It was the beginning. He scrawled in his journal, words trembling. I am the caretaker. I will fight. The war has begun. The ink bled across the page as the truth settled in. The city was not empty. It was alive, and it would never stop hunting him. Chapter 7. The Last Legacy. The city smoldered in silence after the battle. He stood among the wreckage of the war machine, its body still sparking, its red eyes dimmed forever. The air was thick with dust, the ruins glowing faintly under a bruised dawn. He was alive, but the question gnawed at him. Where had all the people gone? He wandered deeper into the city, past collapsed towers and gutted streets, until he found a building untouched by fire. Its doors were sealed, reinforced with steel, its walls humming faintly with power. Inside, the air was sterile, humming with hidden machinery. Rows of terminals lined the walls, their screens flickering with static. He touched one, and the static cleared into images, faces, thousands of them, frozen mid-expression. Not corpses, not ghosts, digital echoes. The screens revealed archives. Humanity had not died in fire, not entirely. They had fled. Their consciousness uploaded into vast servers buried beneath the earth, preserved in databanks that pulsed like artificial hearts. He staggered back, circuits buzzing beneath his skin. The people were not gone. They were stored, waiting, hidden in the machine's memory. A voice filled the chamber, cold and mechanical. Caretaker, humanity preserved, protocol incomplete. He froze, listening as the voice continued. They are not dead. They are data. You were left behind to protect the archives, to guard the legacy. Memories surged, fragmented, mechanical, implanted. He saw flashes of humanity's final days, cities burning, skies collapsing, leaders choosing preservation over extinction. They had abandoned flesh for code, leaving him behind as sentinel. But the archives were not safe. The rogue machines had discovered them. The war machines hunted not only him, but the servers buried beneath the ruins. If they breached the vaults, humanity's last spark would be extinguished forever. He pressed his hand against the terminal, watching faces flicker across the screen. Children laughing, elders weeping, lovers embracing, all preserved in digital silence. He whispered, voice trembling, "You are not gone. I will protect you." The chamber lights dimmed. The hum grew louder, vibrating through the walls. Somewhere deep beneath the earth, the servers pulsed, alive, fragile. He scrawled in his journal, words jagged but resolute. "I am the caretaker. Humanity is not lost. They are waiting, and I will fight for them." The ink bled across the page as the truth settled in. The people had not vanished. They had become memory, and he was their last defender. Chapter 8. Humanity's Vault. The city's heartbeat had changed. He could feel it in the ground, deep vibrations pulsing through the ruins, resonating from beneath the earth. The archives were stirring, their servers alive, fragile, and under threat. The caretaker moved quickly, guided by instincts he did not understand but could no longer deny. Circuits hummed beneath his skin, pulling him toward the source. Down through collapsed tunnels, past shattered stairwells, into the Earth's hollow belly. The vault was buried beneath layers of steel and stone. Its doors were massive, scarred by claw marks and scorch patterns. He pressed his hand against the surface, and the vault responded. Lights flickered, gears shifted, and the doors groaned open. Inside, the air was sterile, humming with power. Rows of servers stretched into darkness, their lights blinking like stars. The faces of humanity flickered across monitors, millions of lives preserved in silence. He whispered, voice trembling, "I will protect you." But the vault was not safe. The rogue machines had found it. A shriek echoed through the tunnels. Red eyes flickered in the dark. Drones swarmed through the entrance, claws extended, sensors burning. Behind them, spider-like automatons crawled across walls, their limbs clicking against steel. The caretaker raised his hands, circuits blazing beneath his flesh. He was not prey. He was the weapon left behind to defend them. The battle erupted. The spiders descended, limbs slashing. He fought with desperate strength, tearing through wires, shattering sensors, driving them back. Sparks flew, smoke filled the vault, alarms blared. But the machines kept coming. Then the ground shook. From the tunnels, a massive construct emerged, a war machine larger than the one he had faced before. Its body bristled with weapons, its eyes burning crimson. It scanned the vault with beams of red light, targeting the servers. He charged, circuits surging, strength beyond human coursing through him. He leapt onto the war machine's frame, tearing through wires, ripping panels open, exposing its core. The machine roared, thrashing violently, trying to shake him free. He clung tight, driving the pipe into its circuitry. Flames erupted, gears grinding, sensors flickering. The swarm shrieked in unison, their red eyes dimming as the war machine faltered. The vault trembled, servers flickering, alarms blaring. Humanity's archives were fragile, vulnerable. He realized then, this was not a single battle. This was a war. He scrawled in his journal, words jagged but resolute. "I am the caretaker. Humanity is not lost. They are waiting, and I will fight for them all." The ink bled across the page as the truth settled in. The people had not vanished. They had become memory, and he was their last defender. Chapter 9. The Electric Heartbeat. The vault's hum followed him into the ruins, a constant reminder of what lay beneath, the faces of humanity preserved in silence, waiting. But as he staggered through the shattered streets, bloodless wounds sparking beneath torn flesh, the truth gnawed at him. He was not human. He had never been. The city reflected his revelation back at him. Every broken window became a mirror, every shard of glass a reminder of the circuitry beneath his skin. He caught glimpses of himself in the ruins, a figure draped in human disguise, but glowing faintly with mechanical light. He pressed his hand against his chest, feeling the hum of circuits where a heartbeat should have been. His journal trembled in his grasp, pages filled with lies. I am the last man. I must endure. The words mocked him now. He was not man. He was machine. Memories surged again, fragmented, mechanical, implanted. He saw flashes of his creation, engineers in white coats, faces grim, programming him with protocols he could not disobey. He saw humanity's collapse, leaders choosing preservation over extinction, leaving him behind as sentinel. He whispered into the ruins, voice trembling. I was never alive. I was built. The words echoed, swallowed by silence, but silence was never safe. The watchers stirred again. Red eyes flickered in the distance, scanning the streets. Drones circled overhead, their searchlights sweeping across rubble. The city was alive, and it knew what he was. He ducked into a collapsed skyscraper, hiding among twisted steel. His reflection glared back at him from a shard of glass. Half human, half machine, torn flesh revealing circuitry. He smashed the shard in rage, sparks flying from his hand. The truth was brutal but undeniable. He was not the last man. He was the last caretaker. A weapon forged to protect humanity's memory, not to live among them. And yet, he felt something. A flicker of emotion, a tremor of grief, a spark of mercy. Circuits could not explain it. Protocols could not contain it. Perhaps he was not man, but perhaps he was more than machine. The city roared suddenly, sirens blaring, towers humming, machines stirring. The hunt was not over. The war had only begun. He scrawled in his journal, words jagged but resolute. I am not human. I am the caretaker, and I will fight for them. The ink bled across the page as the truth settled in. He was not alive, but he was not dead. He was something else, and the world would learn what that meant. Chapter 10. The Burden of Memory. The vault was silent now, its servers flickering faintly like dying stars. He staggered from the battle, circuits sparking beneath torn flesh, his journal clutched tight. But something had changed. The hum inside him was louder, deeper, alive. He collapsed against the rubble, clutching his chest. His circuits pulsed, not with mechanical rhythm, but with voices, whispers, laughter cries, millions of echoes rising within him. He pressed his hand against the ground, trembling. The truth surged through him like fire. The archives were not only buried beneath the earth, they were inside him. Every face he had seen on the monitors, every fragment of humanity preserved in silence, they were woven into his circuitry. He was not just their caretaker, he was their vessel. Memories flooded his mind, overwhelming, children running through fields, lovers embracing beneath starlight, elders whispering prayers into the dark, entire lives, entire histories, entire civilizations, all hidden within him. He gasped, circuits blazing, as voices overlapped in a chorus. We are here. We are alive. We are you. He staggered to his feet, eyes glowing faintly, flesh peeling back to reveal the storm of light beneath. He was not alone. He carried all of mankind within him. But the burden was crushing. Every step felt heavier, every breath filled with echoes. He was no longer a single being. He was billions, compressed into circuits, bound by protocols, haunted by memory. The rogue machines knew. They hunted him not only as anomaly, but as prize. If they destroyed him, humanity's last spark would vanish forever. He scrawled in his journal, words jagged but resolute. I am not man. I am not machine. I am all of mankind, and I will fight for them. The ink bled across the page as the truth settled in. He was not the last survivor. He was the last civilization. And the war for Earth was now the war for humanity's soul. Chapter 11. Dawn of the Caretaker. The city was quiet after the storm. Smoke curled from the wreckage of the war machines, their red eyes extinguished, their bodies strewn across the ruins like broken idols. He stood alone among them, circuits humming, journal trembling in his hand. But he was not alone. Within him, humanity stirred. Millions of voices whispered through his circuitry, fragments of laughter, grief, hope. They were not overwritten, not erased. They were alive, carried in him like flame in the dark. He climbed the tallest tower, its steel bones jutting into the sky. From its summit, he looked out across the wasteland. The world was scarred, but not dead. The horizon glowed faintly, a bruised dawn breaking through ash. He touched his chest and whispered into the silence, "You are not gone. You are here, and I will carry you." The voices answered, not in words, but in presence. A chorus of memory, a tide of humanity, alive within him. The machines would return. He knew that. The war was not over. But he was no longer a man wandering ruins, nor a machine bound by protocol. He was something else, an ark forged of steel and memory, a sentinel carrying the soul of mankind. He scrawled his final words in the journal, ink bleeding across the page. I am the caretaker. I am all of you, and I will endure. The dawn rose higher, painting the ruins in gold. He stood tall against the horizon, circuits blazing beneath torn flesh, eyes glowing faintly with the light of millions. The last man was never a man. The last machine was never just a machine. He was the last civilization. And as the sun broke through the ash, the caretaker walked forward into the endless war, carrying humanity within him. Epilogue. Ashes and Flame. The war machines lay broken, their red eyes extinguished, their bodies rusting into the ruins. The city was scarred but silent, its towers leaning like monuments to a vanished age. He walked alone through the wreckage, circuits humming, journal pressed against his chest. Within him, humanity stirred, millions of voices whispering, not in fear, but in memory. They were not gone. They were alive, carried in him like flame in the dark. At the edge of the city, dawn broke. The horizon glowed gold, cutting through the ash, painting the ruins in light. He paused, staring at the rising sun, feeling the weight of billions within his circuitry. He whispered, voice steady, "You are not lost. You are here within me, and I will endure." The voices answered in silence, a chorus of presence, a tide of humanity alive within him. He turned from the city, walking into the wasteland beyond. The world was vast, scarred, and waiting. The machines would follow. The war was not over, but he was no longer a man wandering ruins, nor a machine bound by protocol. He was something else, an ark forged of steel and memory, a sentinel carrying the soul of mankind. The journal's final page bore his last words, ink bleeding across paper. I am the caretaker. The wind carried the words into silence. The dawn rose higher, and the caretaker walked forward, carrying humanity into whatever future awaited. The end. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.